But sometimes, you can do a couple of them.
I try to space it out.
Yeah, we do.
This is,
But, I mean, I say sunshine stuff, not to complain about, but we have so many, like, it's just hard, there's so many rules, it's hard to just function what you think is normally, but it's not, like, you're not allowed, like, it's, like, I feel like some of the rules, it's like, it's natural to just play out and say, but you can't, like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially because people
Yeah. Yeah. I know we don't have like a special thing at committee of the whole or something.
I can find
You know anyone against that? Someone asked me if they
dueling chiefs
would
tonight.
be a multi-representative.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yeah, it happens.
but right now,
Your name, we want to make sure we got it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure the benefit. Well, it's like, how many jobs did you buy aside from building? None. I'm surprised it's that one. Yeah.
This first document. Which I don't understand this.
there is Jennifer in her little corner all alone.
Welcome to the Maumee City Council meeting. It's November 3rd at 6:15 PM. We'll call the roll. I know Mr. Curtis has an excused absence this evening. And we'll proceed with the roll.
Lineback.
Yes.
Puffenberger.
Yes.
Zis.
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll proceed to committee the whole. President Barrow, I would ask just for a minute before we proceed to that. I know there's two agreements here with the fire division for Springfield and Monclova. And our fire chief, maybe you can just give us just a brief explanation of what that is. Would you mind going to the mic? Thank you.
So for the last year, we've obviously transitioned to full-time fire, and even before that, we had been working with our neighbors quite often, actually for many, many years. So before you tonight is the agreement with Springfield Township Fire Department, and there's one with Monclova Township Fire Department. And what this is a automatic aid agreement. So in the past, all we have done is when we would get a structure fire call, we would get on our radio and ask dispatch to send more units to help us. Typically, in a house fire, structure fire, we need a lot more crews. And this has been evident on every fire that we've had in Maumee that is what we term a working fire. So in working with other chiefs over the past at least 10 years, and then with the current chiefs of Springfield and Monclova in the last couple of years, we had anticipated this as a good move for the communities. This will be only for structure fires that are reported working fires, or I'm sorry, it's dispatches of structure fire, so a house or a building. It won't be for a car or for a dumpster or anything like that. So what this agreement does, then dispatch will automatically send those units instead of us having to get on the radio and call for help, which delays, and that delay obviously is inefficient for life safety, and it's also inefficient for firefighter safety as well. So that is the key with this. What we did is we worked with the county, the ARCOG, and we came up with the three departments came up with a geographically bound area. So basically, it's reciprocal. We call for help, they will call for help, but it's automatic. So
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
absolutely.
The chief and I have been talking about this for a few months now and trying to work out some of the details and how this benefits everybody that surrounds us, especially with the amount of equipment that other jurisdictions can provide for a large structure fire, either a house or a business. I mean, even a business, we would never have enough equipment to handle that. And in this particular case, with structure fires, it would be an automatic send. And, I mean, it's a good thing. Monclova has one fire division. We have one firehouse. Springfield has 5? 4. Yeah, so you're just amassing your resources for those big events that typically are going to need more response. So thank you. I just wanted to clarify that for council.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor McDonald. I do have something that council has your agenda in front of you. One thing I'd like to do is add something for Beer Barrel Incorporated. They want to, on the consent calendar form, it just came in this afternoon, and it's something they have to move quick on. They're doing a transaction, so we just want to have it on consent calendar that there's no objection. Our law director looked at this for a stock transaction for Beer Barrel. So I'd like to add that to consent. I think it's K.
And that's just a liquor license transfer, correct?
Well, it's actually
not
a stock
actually-
transaction.
Yeah, it's not a transfer
Oh,
of any
it's
kind,
selling.
it's just a stock transaction. They send those to us too. You could, just probably a change in the ownership of the stock is also,
That's what it looks
but they
like.
still send it to us for approval, so, or that we could object, and there's obviously no reason for us to object to that kind of transaction.
So that would be my motion to add it to consent, K.
I will second that.
We'll call the roll to add that to the consent calendar. It'd be K. We'll call the roll on that, please.
Lineback,
Yes.
Poffenberger,
Yes.
Ziz,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes. Okay, council, in front of you is the agenda. Do you have any questions or concerns? Councilman Fiskus?
Thank you, President Barrow. On the agenda for new business, 10C is updated sanitary sewer overflow policy. It's just, in the packet is just the PowerPoint that goes along with it. There are handouts on the table over there that are things that are already available from Matt Miles. They are, I believe that's the FAQ, which we've taken all the questions that we've been getting over the phone, put them into one document. There is the application instructions as well, the financial need application, as well as a ACH credit authorization form. Those are all forms that are available now. They have been passed out as he's been meeting with people. Additional to that, once this is passed, he will have more updates that will go on the website. He didn't want to do it in little bits. He would prefer to do all of the information at once, rather so that there are not lapses in the information that is out there. So once this is passed, he said probably a day or two to get it all uploaded to the website, and it will be all available on maumee.org.
Chelsea?
I'm sorry, can you kind of go over what all is included? Because in our Exhibit A that we're passing, none of that was a part of it, so. if you just-
This is stuff that he has told me is all available currently. He has been giving to people as he meets with them. The additional stuff, I'm not 100% certain what he's putting on there. He said it's all dependent on passage of this tonight.
I'm not sure what your question is again.
Well, one of the things that I asked on Friday was some more information, some more of the documentation, some of those sorts of things. We had only seen or received that PowerPoint. So I would have liked to have seen some of that information prior to this meeting. No. With that being said, as far as we're talking about the sewer issue to begin with, several of us had discussed potentially having sort of a blanket extension for people who had gotten their inspections done prior to the consent decree. That was not addressed. We do have in there that there is a potential for extension based on the capital projects manager looking it over, but I'm just wondering why we didn't talk about that or add that to the agenda when it was expressed pretty publicly at the last council meeting.
Alan, could you explain what this ordinance is, 35?
Yeah, this is really to grant 1 year to complete the inside work from the date of the inspection to make it consistent with the current commitment form. And that's what the capital project manager believes is workable. And based on the other, he does have the ability to grant an extension, to change the program parameters. Otherwise, it's not something he's recommending further at this time, but obviously we continue to review things.
Well, actually, didn't I get an email? I didn't bring it with me. I asked a similar question in email, I think it was last week, and Alan, you had responded. I'm just trying to, I feel like it was different. It was additional information than what, I don't know if I'm going to be able to
I think
find it,
Mr.
though.
Griggs sent out the current step-by-step outline on our website about this whole remediation program, and you should have got that last week, I believe. But if you go to the website, it's been revised a number of times. It's pretty self-explanatory about what people need to do if you go there. And I believe you sent a copy of that to all council last week. Correct, Mr. Griggs?
I did not send a copy of that to
Oh, okay,
council. I think all that stuff was just available on the website.
Gotcha, okay.
So the email that I received back, it said, the city has made it clear to the EPA that our citizens that the commitment form needs to be signed by the end of this year. This is one step that is necessary to make this program work. We are beginning work in residential areas soon, and if we delay the implementation of the program, the residents in areas where work is commencing will effectively be able to hold up lining projects. If we amended the program to make time to perform internal repairs to 1 year from the date of the inspection. So it was essentially logistical reasons why delaying it could cause more issues. That was what my email from the 30th, so Thursday. Because I had asked a similar question, because I had brought that up, a while back too. So I don't know if it's something to do with like the SSCS, with the consent that just got signed, that the thought is that would cause issues with that.
Well, this is what we told the EPA all along, that we're going to have this program, that we're going to have people signed up by the end of the year, and what the program entails. And as indicated, there also is work that's going to commence. If you delay the program further, it's going to delay being able to commence some of the work in some of the areas where it's going to start, in the residential areas especially.
Chelsea?
And I get that. We can't ask for an EPA deadline extension or necessarily the lateral lining extension, but if people do not sign that commitment letter, or if they sign that commitment letter and they got their inspection done last November, December, this most recent January, February, with the understanding that if they do that, they have 1 year from the date of that inspection, right, to complete their interior repairs?
Correct, unless they get a further extension from the capital projects manager.
And we had several presentations, roundtables, suggesting that we would hear back about this consent order, consent decree, and understanding that that would be done probably sometime, and I believe the actual date we were told was April 1st, but it didn't actually go through until September. And I understand we can't extend our EPA deadline. I understand that we can't extend the amount of time that we have to remediate those things. But a lot of these people jumped into this program in the beginning with the understanding that the city would help them and take care of them if somebody got their work done in November or December of last year. They are already up. We can't just grant people an extension as a blanket. I don't think that would delay the lining work. It's just giving them a few extra months to do it.
Well, I think Alan already spoke to that, those people would go to the capital project manager and explain that, and imagine they would have granted the extra time they would need. Is that correct, Alan?
That's my understanding, is the capital project manager is working with those people that have had an inspection. They're coming up against that deadline.
Okay, so, but it's an individually granted item depending on what they apply for, as opposed to just a blanket extension?
Correct.
Well,
Councilman Linebaugh?
Well, the wording in the document says special, I think it was like special conditions or something like that, or special, what's the?
special circumstances?
Special circumstances. And I was curious to know what those would be. It seems like just from the 80-20 rule, there's, we could, and maybe Matt Miles knows what these are. I would be very anxious to hear what they are, because I were in that situation. I'd like to know what the special circumstances are that, oh, good, I'll get, 3 months. I mean, something like, say you got your inspection in November, but you didn't get your report until February. I understand from some people there was quite a big, quite a time lag in getting their report, and you would need the report to give it to a contractor to say, this is what the city says I need to do, give me a quote. So it seems like that could be, part of some special circumstances that I think should be spelled out a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Matt, do you want to weigh in on this?
No, I mean, I think there's really no, blanket for special circumstances. I think it's kind of a case-by-case scenario, and from my understanding, he hasn't gotten very many requests. So I don't know if there's a huge surge for these requests, and if that is the case, it's not been brought to my knowledge. But I guess, obviously it's something that we'll have to work through as they come in, and if it becomes more of an issue, then I think, it'll be worth further discussion. But at this time, it doesn't seem to be an issue.
Margot?
Yes, thank you. So one of the concerns I had, because I had met with Matt to kind of talk about kind of where we were at with everything, but I know that a real concern of his, and I expected to see in this, that we got in our packet, was it all landing on his shoulders and making that decision. He had talked about really wanting to have some sort of 3-person appeals board, so that it's not all landing on him. Just like, this staff can decide whatever, and then the appeals can go to design review, and then you have kind of like another entity to kind of help with that decision making. So I guess I thought if there was going to be changes to the program at all, that is something that would have been included as well. And especially if, the special circumstances, he's going to need to be the one determining whether those special circumstances make sense or not. And if, people just really don't like the answer, it's once again, just all one person having that kind of second space to go to. Seems to be how we do it in other things, planning commission, with the design review board. So it seems to make sense for this sort of program. So I kind of wondered about that as well.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on that?
Yes, I would like a little bit more information. I genuinely don't understand. We've had several people up here say, people sat up here at this dais and said, yeah, once we get the consent decree signed, we will discuss doing an extension from the date of the consent decree as opposed to from the commitment letter. Right now, if they have signed that commitment letter to fix those interior repairs, for November or December, the minute that they are no longer under that agreement, from 927.99, could officially be charged with a misdemeanor every single day and a $1,000 fine every day. I don't expect that the city would do that, but that is the way that the code is written. So I'm wondering why we can't just give that extension. No, don't.
And again, there's provisions to deal with the capital projects manager at this time. There hasn't been a big call for extensions as indicated by Public Service Director. And it's something that we can adjust as things go along, so.
Stop. Don't, guys.
Excuse me. I think that's something we can look at. We can do it offline, and we can come back at the next meeting and see how that's going to lay out versus trying to put that together here.
Yes,
We have enough panels of committees. I think I could go to one of those, have something put together, have Matt be part of that at least. Here's the stepping stone. Maybe first call would go to Matt or whoever's answering the phone
Sure.
there. Here's my problem. I signed up here. Here's the date. I didn't get, the several month spread of getting finally a consent decree was because of all the things that we wanted in it, so we could be held harmless from doing it when we wanted to do it and how we wanted to do it. That took a lot of time back and forth. But yeah, I'll work on that with you, Chelsea, if you like.
Okay. What committee would you suggest that would go to first? After it has been reviewed by staff and everyone? Would that be a finance committee?
It would probably possibly be part of finance because it's dealing with money, and I'm not sure where then, but like I said, we can work this offline. That way we can
Okay.
move forward.
Well, because I'd like to make a motion to refer it to that committee if that were going to be the case.
Jennifer, does that make sense to come to finance with it first?
I think we can start, and to reiterate Chelsea's point, I think, Matt has expressed that he doesn't want to necessarily be that final say. So I don't know if his intention was to have it go to like a finance committee or a committee of, I don't want to use the word like peers or other.
A hearings board.
Yeah, more of like a hearing board.
Yeah, because it's not really, I think something of that nature, a hearing board, and I don't know if we have something like that set up now with one of our
It just needs to be
committees.
discussed further, so maybe the public information meeting, I don't know.
Does that make sense to refer to public information? Because that's your question. You wanted to refer that motion for a committee to discuss potentially other changes to
Yes.
the program, correct?
Because we don't have a
Right.
water and sewer program
Yep.
committee. We had an advisory board for a minute. So I don't want to lose it because people are stressed. And I know that we haven't heard it that much, but I've gotten dozens, if not more, calls, texts, messages of people who are very stressed out about this, where they're running out of time. They're some of the first people who jumped in to do this. They just want to not be in trouble.
So Chelsea, make that motion.
Okay.
Go
Yeah.
to.
The public information, I'm sorry, for me, that doesn't make sense. That does not seem to be something that falls under what public information meeting is, and maybe John, as chair, you can let me, what do you think about that? Like, it seems like,
I think it's a weird thing that doesn't really have a committee.
right?
It is water and sewer related, which we typically send to finance, but it is also something that deals with putting out information. So I could see it both ways.
Yeah.
It may very well come to one committee and be sent to the others. From my understanding, talking to Matt, was he wanted a 3-person appeal board specific to the sewer program. I believe it was for people who had disagreements with whether they qualified, not necessarily for the extensions. That was my understanding when I spoke with him a week and a half ago. It was not necessarily, because we can't send every single case to a committee that only meets occasionally. But he can make the decision on whether they should have an extension. He would prefer that it goes to a sewer appeals board if someone disputes whether they qualify for a certain rate or not. That was my understanding. I could be wrong. I don't know who else is.
Or if something is covered or not covered. or-
Correct.
I didn't remember whether he stated a specific thing. I just remember him saying having that board would be helpful.
And if we want to send it to, I'm sorry, I have cough drop in because I am sick. I'm not chewing candy. If we want to send it to public information, I can reach out to him to get clarification on that in case he cannot attend the meeting. I'm fine with that if we need to find a place to put it.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to have a public information meeting next week anyway.
Chelsea?
We can call for a separate committee of the whole meeting that isn't a business meeting where we're passing legislation, knowing that we don't have a specific committee and that it might be finance, it might be public information, it might be personnel, if we're talking hearings, boards, and everything else. Would it make sense to make a motion to call a separate committee of the whole meeting to further discuss this program and refine it?
Well, I think yes and no. If we're going to be talking about people who qualify financially or they have a complaint about that, we would not want to do that publicly.
Sure.
Because of confidentiality. As far as the program goes, extensions based on paperwork, timing, and such like that, and funding, that makes sense.
Council
President
President, just for clarification, I think you're asking to have the committee of the whole discuss what these changes should be, not to discuss anybody's individual case.
Correct.
Strictly what these rules, because right now, my understanding is that with this ordinance that's on here, the only change that I saw was the up to 6-month extension due to special circumstances. Is there anything else?
Well, in
That's highlighted.
this discussion, I heard about people who were denied or weren't given as much as they thought or not, something to do with getting more of a service from the city or more things paid for. That's kind of what I heard through
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It was potential discussion of a blanket extension for anybody who's gotten their home inspected before a certain date, as they're coming up on their 1-year commitment, their requirement, and some of the changes that were potentially presented but are not a part of this change. Right now, as far as I'm aware, the only changes in there are, like you said, the clarifying, because the last PowerPoint did say actually 1 year from the consent decree, but the commitment letter said 1 year from inspection. So there's a clarification saying that the actual intention is 1 year from inspection. There was a change saying that the capital projects manager can give a 6-month extension on special circumstances. And the third change was laying out exactly which specific items would be covered under the program.
Right.
But
I
there's
heard what you,
not any of the other things that have been
Okay.
talked about for a couple of weeks. I think it'd be worth it to have a committee of the whole meeting, maybe with our capital projects manager, to discuss making sure we take care of some of those things.
sure, okay.
You want to make that motion? Refer it to committee of the whole?
Yes, I'll make a motion to refer the sewer program to the committee of the whole to discuss extensions and other refinements of the program.
I'll second that.
All right, we'll make that L on the consent calendar.
We'll call the roll on that, please.
Lineback,
Yes.
Pufferberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes?
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes. Anything further on the agenda?
Councilman Lineback?
Okay, maybe it's me. I'm trying to understand on item D, 9D, the second reading of the changes to Chapter 103, specifically in 103.05, letter E. In reading the wording that's in there in the red text, it's not clear to me what exactly the intent is. I'm just going, just by the words. I'm looking for something that says, council's got a responsibility to approve with these limits, or council doesn't have to approve those. Maybe, Finance Chair Puffenberger, could you help me understand? Now, what's the intent of that section?
For E,
Yeah, so 103.05
let
E.
me, okay.
I think I know what it is, but the words to me don't make it really clear.
Can I read it again? I'm sorry.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
At least in the copy that I had in the packet.
Well, it's saying that council needs to authorize before commencing additional work. If the funds are in excess of 100,000 per amendment or change order, which collectively exceed the lower, so they were trying to have like a cap, like not too low, not too high, is how I read it. And then all change orders in excess of the amount in that portion, that sentence needs to be taken to council to authorize. Then for both criteria, the change order, with the summarized tally of change orders, needs to be
Yeah.
attached.
That's the part, just up until that point, that I was finding the wording unclear, because it's,
Okay.
I think my understanding was that we want council must approve anything, any change order over $100,000. That's clear. And then the other requirement we were trying to put in there was having a cap of some kind. So let's just say we had a bunch of change orders under $100,000, but if we reached 20% of the original contract amount or 500,000, whichever is the lower number,
Yeah.
then it would kick in again and says, council has
Need
to
to come to
approve
council.
any additional.
And that's what we talked about in the meeting, right? Matt, I remember that specifically being something that you kind of talked about.
Yes.
And I talked to Matt Miles today about that, and that was his recollection. I just think there's a little wordsmithing that has to, it doesn't say anything about city council will approve these. If you read that second sentence really closely, I think you'll see that there's something missing. And that's all. I'm not arguing with the intent of what it's supposed to do, but it's just not clear.
So are you worried about it just saying authorized by council? Because it
No.
doesn't say like a,
It's really, if the amendment or change order involves the additional expenditure of funds that are in excess of $100,000 per amendment or change order, and which collectively for that contract do not exceed the lower of 20% of the approved contract amount or $500,000. Something's missing in there. Something, it should, if it could be clear to say council must approve any change over $100,000. And
That's
council
not-
must approve any change order when the cumulative change orders on the original contract exceed the lower of 20% of the approved contract amount or 500,000. No, but that's, your council president's pointing out something in the next sentence. That's completely in the next sentence.
Yeah, but it's referring to that last sentence.
Yeah, it says, for all change orders in excess of the amount described previously. Wouldn't that refer back to that sentence?
That may be, but that previous sentence really isn't even a sentence.
You have to look at the whole sentence before that. It says, if the amendment or change order involves the additional expenditure of funds that are in excess of $100,000 per amendment or change order, in which collectively for that contract do not exceed the lower of 20% of the approved contract amount or $500,000. So it doesn't need to go to council at that point. I can look at it further, but
Yeah, that's all. You know, I'm not trying to be a grammar crazy person, but something's just missing there. When I read that, it was not clear to me what we were trying to say. And I want people to be clear, you know, what it says.
There's an if, but not a then.
Yeah, the then is missing, as well as what does that stuff mean in that sentence. So, okay, if Alan, if you can take a look at that, maybe I can just give you my thoughts again afterwards.
no problem.
Okay, Margot?
yes, please. I have something for the same item, and it is something that I emailed about last week. So I had a copy of the Chapter 103 that was sent in an email on October 14th. And that was the copy, for whatever reason, I was using at the last council meeting. It was something that, you know, the one that I used to kind of have a conversation with Alan over the phone, and I had my final notes on that. Well, then I came to realize, looking through the packet this week, that the version included in the packet, which also ended up being the version included last week, I missed it, was a version that was sent on the 10th. I think on the 14th, Alan had sent a response with the kind of rewording that Matt had included. So I guess I'm wondering, why, and it could have just been a mistake, just like I, made the mistake of not realizing this was the one included in last meeting. I guess that's why we have 3 readings, right? So I guess I'm trying to get verification on this 103.05A, that paragraph, which is the one that we are voting on. Or I guess why did we end up going back to the one from the 10th? I guess that's my verification. Why did we end up going back to the one on the 10th? I'm trying to see kind of the differences, between them. Like I saw that, I think fully executed was one of the, parts, they're minor changes, but if I figured if they were changed on the 14th, it was for good reason. So I just want to make sure that we're not missing them for this final version that we're voting on. And I'd emailed about it and I didn't get a response, so I'm just bringing it up now, too.
That's the 103.05A.
Yes, yeah.
Has the version changed from what was recommended to council from the committee? Are we looking at the original version, second reading from what was discussed in committee and given to council?
Yeah, so Finance Committee, there was the one that we discussed and did changes. During that meeting, Matt had mentioned he would send his changes to the wording to Alan, so it would get modified slightly for the council meeting.
And I did make those changes, so.
Okay. But there's variation between the one that was sent on the 14th. That was a little different than the one sent on the 10th, but the one in our packet is the one from the 10th. So I'm just trying to clarify. And I mean, I had highlighted on the one from the 14th, like it was different, like department directors, there were some things that we, had talked about before and cleaned up. So I don't think it's anything huge. I just want to make sure, if it was felt that on the 14th, these edits needed to be made, I just want to make sure that it's not something we're now missing because we're using the version from the 10th. That's all I'm trying to.
Alan, can we accept this as a second reading and then that gets fixed between this
And
and
look at that. That's
next
what.
reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Could you do that, please?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Is there anything else on the agenda? Any questions? Having seen none, this ends the committee of the whole.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to citizen comments. 3-minute limit per person and 2-minute limit if 2 or more people are addressing the same subject, which I do have a number of entries here for the sewer issue. So we'll have a 15-minute maximum on this subject. If it continues to go that far, we'll shut it off. So we'll start with Tracy Elmore.
Thank you, Tracy Elmore on Ogats. In regards to the sewer process, trying to be a good citizen, I was one of the first on board to get the inspection. I called in November, got my inspection in December. I also have a rental property, so I've got 2. Then I was assured during my meeting with Patrick in the spring, because it took a while to get my results, that the consent decree would definitely come either March or April. And then he assured me definitely by May, after April came and went. I held off on signing the commitment letter due to his assurances. And then throughout the summer, when we also had some of our roundtables, I was told it would be coming. As long as you sign your commitment letter by the end of the year, everything will be great. Even though we're unsure about everything, I was told by Matt Miles a week and a half ago, just sign the commitment letter or else you're not going to get the funds. It's kind of like holding me for ransom, I kind of felt. And in the meantime, I'm trying to get these quotes from different people, and I finally got the quotes, and I'm like, are you going to be able to get me done before December, or I'm not going to have any funds? And he was like, I don't know, I'm not getting a lot of answers from Matt Miles. So the contractors and Matt have a chasm there. But my whole point is, that's one of the things, we need an extension, I think, because Matt could not guarantee me that my special circumstances would be okay with him. The commitment letter needs to be sent to the residents in the water bill, because they cannot find them on the website. I have a 70-year-old elderly neighbor that has no idea what's going on, and I'm holding his hand throughout this whole thing, and I had to give him a commitment letter to sign. I also asked, are we supposed to pay for this and then get reimbursed? And then I was told, yep, all homeowners have to pay for everything and then apply for your reimbursement. Well, my property is going to be $16,000, and now I've got 5 weeks to get my project scheduled, completed, and my financing all done within 5 weeks. Not going to happen, especially with my 70-year-old neighbor that's a disabled vet and that just filed bankruptcy. What's his answer going to be? And we're just uploading forms, and we're coming up to my year deadline. What about these? I just feel so bad for some of our neighbors, and these extenuating circumstances need to be outlined, and Matt needs help. He is stressed out to the max, and I try not to be an added burden to him. But when you have 5,000 residents that are trying to deal with this and trying to help you guys out, we just need to get things straightened out. I appreciate your efforts to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Gary Trachnia?
To make this as short as possible, Gary Trachnia from 836 Caldwell Street. I downloaded the commitment form a couple days ago, scheduled my inspection, and it's not going to be done until sometime in October of 2027. I read the 6 pages, and I didn't sign anything yet. I don't see where the city signs on anything, and I didn't know at this point whether any of the grant money would be available. And I also read somewhere in there, these documents, that if it was done by certain contractors, then they would get paid by the grant money. I don't want to say grant money, I want to say our taxpayer money, because that's what it is. And then I also read somewhere that if it was done by contractors not within the realm of putting in the lateral changes on the streets, then the citizen would have to pay for it and then get reimbursed by the tax money that was being offered through the grants. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Gene Cook?
Gene Cook. I'll be
Yes.
very quick. I live on Christopher Lane, and now the consent decree is out, signed by the judge. Are we going to have public meetings so we can get a little more educated this topic? Because I'm confused too. My second issue is, my next door neighbor told me that we have this creek, like to call it a creek. It's a drainage ditch in our backyard, and it's full of stuff. And we have a private person doing our lawns down there, but obviously there's no water in it now, and it's starting to smell. Whose job is that? It really needs to be cleaned up.
I think it's the Graham ditch that you're referring to, the ditch behind.
Yeah.
That runs behind your house. Okay. Thank
That's
you.
all.
All right, thanks. Cheryl Miller? Okay, thank you. Doug Davison?
Hi, Doug Davidson, Colwell Street, Maumee. I just wanted to reiterate that it was my understanding that we were supposed to have some informational meetings once the things were approved by the state of Ohio, whatever body it was, but I haven't seen anything on the docket for meetings, informational meetings from council, the city of Maumee administration. You got these pieces of paper up here today. They may have been on the internet, on your website for a short time, but many of us are not proficient in doing that and getting that information. So it would be helpful if we had the meetings as promised to let us know what we're supposed to do, where we're supposed to go. And it is very confusing as far as when do we sign these commitment forms. And I hear all these other residents that are very confused about the procedure and the timeframes involved. And I just we need some more information. And everyone up there, I appreciate you letting me talk here. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Each of you ran for these positions, and you were voted in. And if you can't do the job, you probably should resign if you're not up to it. And so it's not up to CMAQ to inform us of all of the information that we need as citizens. It's up to the city council. And one other thing, who brings a laptop to a birthday dinner?
Huh? Catherine Stark.
Catherine Stark, East Williams. Most of what's been said has been my concern as well. Everything's been kind of murky. I have an inspection coming up, and quite honestly, I've been reticent. Should I cancel this? Everything is kind of unclear. The roundtables that were held in the initial phase of the sewer program were helpful. CMAQ was extremely helpful in further educating the citizens. It's my understanding that the city is saying they don't want to do the roundtables. I would just plead with the city to please do roundtables. Please educate on every facet of the program so people know what to expect, how to proceed, and be part of the solution.
Thank you. Isaiah Gonzalez.
All right, Isaiah Gonzalez, 677 Northfield. Another thing with the sewers, we have 4,000 homes that are going to have to be remediated. And this is going to be a big project for the next 5 to 7 years. The fact that we do not have a board of some sort to look through and amend the program as it goes, there's going to be trial and error in the first year, let alone. So something needs to be worked out, that there's a board or something that more information can be worked in as the learning process, as the learning curve progresses. We really do need roundtables for information. As the last 3 months, or since the consent decree's been signed, the city hasn't really said anything about the program except for sign the paper. So another thing is we have homes that are for sale. People that are selling their homes aren't getting the inspections. And then it has about a month and a half now till a new homeowner has to sign it by the end of the year. Or what happens if they don't do it and they sell the house in 26, they don't apply for those loans from 25. There should be a stipulation there that a house that's sold after that fact has 6 months to do that. There's a lot more working parts that really need to be addressed, and the city really needs to pick up the pace on getting this stuff done instead of, every 2 or 3 weeks we'll look at it, and then it's just that's all that's been going on is just dead air right now. So we need progress. Thank you.
Thank you. John Scott.
Excuse me.
John Scott, Greenfield Drive. I also have concerns on the sewer inspections. This has been going on for well over a year. The consent decree went out. The approval came back from the state. There was an information meeting. We were told there was going to be all kinds of public discussion, getting people informed. There's been none of that. It took the city 13 days to address it on a website that the decree was even signed. Over this past week, we posted on the city website 5 times about tree movies. We posted 5 times about garbage pickup. We posted 3 times about a park ribbon cutting. We posted twice about a sewer issue. Something that every leader up here has said is one of the most important things happening in the city right now. A couple council meetings ago, it was amusing that everybody had an assumption about a water bill for trees, and there was confusion with it. Then again tonight, council member didn't have an email answered. Another council member didn't have an email answered, all pertaining to the sewer issue. This isn't amusing anymore. I get it that you guys see yourselves not kicking the can down the road, but you're kicking the can right at the citizens. Kicking it at the citizens who didn't illegally dump. The city did, but the citizens are paying the price continuously for this. There's so many out there that have no clue what's going on. The seniors that don't use social media, and instead we're posting about garbage and tree movies. We need to do better as a city and help these people out.
Tom Shabold? Tom?
Hi there, Tom Shabold, Shelley Avenue. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
I'd just like to know when we can expect an explanation on how Maumee's Uptown project went 4.1 million over budget. Who authorized that? What was that spent on? I think the people that have to pay for it would like to know, don't you? What steps have been taken to ensure another 690,000 order doesn't get paid without proper authorization? It seems unbelievable that it happened, but it did. Is there a profit and loss statement attached to the restaurant, the one that was going to be a real game changer? I'd like to know if the citizens are subsidizing another private business, giving tax dollars to business while expecting us to increase our refuse fees. That's crazy. What did we get for 17.1 million? Any new businesses? Did all that money raise the tax values of Conant Street businesses and generate more real estate taxes? I mean, 17 million's a lot of money. It's funny how the city treats commercial rental property owners a lot differently than it does residential property owners. Exactly what was one of the typical businesses pay? They pay just a little over in real estate tax what a house the same value does. About 20% more, not that much. What about the sales tax? On to-go food, there's no sales tax. On services, there's no tax on labor and other things. I mean, what money is Uptown businesses generating for Maumee? It seems to take a lot, it just doesn't seem to give. You know, the employees even have to live in Maumee to collect a payroll tax. You know, it just doesn't seem to be worth it to stop and get a pizza and beer or a haircut and a tattoo. We had those things before we spent all the money. We didn't gain anything. It's time to stop this field of dreams, build it and they will come mentality. This isn't working. Quit trying to make Maumee into something it's not. Let's get back to just being Maumee. You know, it had something in it for everyone back then. Let's see if we can find that again. Thank you.
Thank you. Paula Jones? Okay. Is your topic relative to the sewer issue?
No.
Because we've kind of expired that time.
No.
Okay.
But I do have problems with the sewer, but no, I'm not talking about it. Okay. My concerns, Paula Jones, Kumler Street. You know, we've had multiple water breaks here in the city recently, okay? You know, these are issues that instead of looking at beautification to our city, maybe we should have been looking at our water main system and making sure that it was up to where it needed to be, instead of having multiple, not just one, but multiple water breaks. So I want to know what we're doing about that. Okay, I've got 3 different issues. The second one has to do, if you're driving down the Anthony Wayne Trail and you go past Key towards Toledo, they put in all those nice bushes in somebody's backyard. Okay, they're very, very nice. Well, they died. Then they came out and replaced the bushes with new bushes. Looks very nice. Then what do? They put up a fence in front of it. Who is getting the benefit of those bushes? It isn't the citizens. It's in somebody's backyard, which nobody can see. And who is maintaining those bushes? Who's watering those bushes and taking care of that issue? Okay. My last question I'm asking the city is, this is a question I have been asked by my sister-in-law's grandchildren. They looked at me and they says, Aunt Paula, why do you have a sign when you're leaving Maumee and going over the bridge that says Uptown Maumee? Now, I am sure that nobody here on this committee approved something like that. It had to have been a mistake by the company in the verbiage on those signs. And I am hoping the city, whoever approved that, goes back on that company and has them corrected. It would look better just being plain, instead of saying Uptown Maumee when you're crossing the bridge that says, a sign right there that says Wood County. So these are my questions, and I would like to see somewhere down the road some answers to those questions, please.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry Shunk.
Obviously, you guys all know me. Sherry Shunk, Key Street, Maumee. Okay, I've been at this podium numerous times, but it's obvious you don't know me. Harris, please tell your wife I don't hide behind anonymous posts or lurk from tables afar. If I see Birch Barrow and you gathering off-site with a laptop in hand, I will approach and demand accountability and question what's going on. And Gabe, really, you should know this, because I approached your table at the restaurant where you were sitting with Birch and your wives. And I asked you if you were discussing Maumee business. You answered me yes, and we were, and rambled on, all while Birch was claiming he no longer worked for the city, but he was probably kicking you under the table to shut up.
Sherry, this is really designed for matters that are relative to the city.
This is my time, and I'm taking my 3 minutes.
It's not really for
You
personal
are
attack.
denying me my civil rights.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
So I will proceed.
Yeah, go ahead, proceed.
So my phone, I have put out numerous messages on Facebook that if they see Birch and any one of you's off-site meeting, to text me. I'll go. If I can't make it, I'll find someone. My phone lit up October 28th like a Christmas tree. They said that Birch, the mayor, Barrow, and Harris were meeting once again. I texted Aaron because I've been going through some health issues. I suffered a minor heart attack. So unable to check it out myself, I sent the text to Aaron. And Aaron called me back saying he was helping change a tire, but he would get there within 30 minutes. I was unaware that your wives were there, but that really doesn't matter because you're in the political arena. I was working, so Aaron's video was wonderful. So you see my attire? I was working in my yard and painting. Like so many other working people, working class people running late, I didn't have time to change my clothes, nor did I want to. So please don't insult mine or the citizens of Maumee's intelligence by trying to turn Aaron's video or the other leaked video and photos into that those individuals were wrong in recording and documenting your wrongdoings. That's deflection, and I'm calling you out on it. If everything was copacetic and on the up and up, you would be meeting here at 400 Conant, not on off-site, in secret, at a table in the way back of a restaurant. Gabe, if you don't have the intelligence to make those decisions on your own.
That's enough. Point of order. Point of order.
All right, that's enough.
Point of order.
That's
We're
enough,
done.
Ms. Shunk.
We're done.
Yeah.
Point of
Well,
order.
that was my last line. Step down and step aside, because you can't make decisions on your own without.
That's enough, Ms. Shunk. Thank you.
Without.
Yep. Mike Delaney?
Yeah, Mike Delaney.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. Glenview, Maumee.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about the sewer issue. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm very confused about it, too, so hopefully things will get worked out. But actually, my question, I read through the packet very shortly this morning, and something kind of struck me, and it actually had to do with the automatic response plan. And I guess I have a question for the chief, just to state it for fact. I'm want to be good neighbors with all our communities. You know, I'm all about public safety for all involved. But I guess the number of times that Maumee is called to those communities, if this is something that's been enacted, how many times do we go there versus how many times they come here? Because something that kind of struck me in reading, you know, through the agreement was it was Part 3, Section E, is no party to this agreement shall be required to reimburse any other party for the cost of providing services. So in thinking that, and recently passing, you know, this fire ordinance or whatever we call it for additional tax fees, is I thought, well, let me compare home to home within these communities. So my home and my value, I'm paying about $250 a year in taxes for the fire department. I look at Monclova, they're paying about $72 for these fire services, and Springfield is $177. So I just want to make sure that we, the citizens of Maumee, aren't being taken advantage of, you know, and that we're using our funds properly. And I understand, too, that we all need the help from other communities. Don't get me wrong. But I just find some inequities in this particular scenario as to, you know, why is Maumee or why is the citizens of Maumee footing a big bill and we're helping out on these other communities when, in fact, if that's kind of the issue of funding for those communities, why don't they raise their taxes? So that's all I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Maybe the chief might be able to have an explanation with you afterwards. I know there's a number of different funding sources, especially in the townships. Springfield has probably 5 fire levies. I mean, they have quite a few of them. But there is different funding sources that adds up to that. So, Chief, maybe you could have a discussion with him after that. All right, that concludes comments. We'll go to the adoption of the agenda. In a motion to approve the agenda actually as revised, because we added 9K. Can I get a motion, a second for that, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will move to approve the agenda as amended.
Never second that.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that? We'll call the roll.
Leinbach,
Yes.
Pufferberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
and approval of the regular minutes of October 20. Motion and a second, please. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I'd like to make a motion to approve regular minutes of the October 20th meeting.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Call the roll on the meeting minutes.
Lineback,
Yes.
Pufferberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. That is approved. We'll go to petitions and communications. We need a motion to accept the PNC and place on file, and a second, and then we'll discuss these. If
So
there's-
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. And then there's a Finance Committee meeting on 10/6. Anything further on that?
No.
Okay. Charter Review Advisory Commission meeting on 10/7. Alan, is there anything further on that?
No, we discussed that at the last meeting, I think.
Okay.
I did, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
As I was scrolling through here, I did, it's just a grammar thing. It says Monday, October 7th. I believe it was Tuesday, October 7th.
Okay. Okay. And nothing further on that, Alan?
Correct.
Okay. And then Personnel Committee meeting on 10/13.
Nothing further on that.
Okay. We'll call the roll on the PNC.
Lineback,
Yes.
Pufferberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Consent calendar, motion to approve, and a second, and then we'll discuss these. Ms. Zis?
Motion to approve all consent calendar items.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. So A is a recommendation from the law director to enter into a brine agreement with ODOT. That's the liquid salt that's put down in the winter. And B is authorization to enter into automatic aid agreement with Springfield Township for structure fires. C is the same with Monclova. We discussed that, Committee of the Whole. D is a second reading of ordinance 030-2025, amending Chapter 103 and Ordinance 26 of 2023 of the Maumee Codified Ordinance, updating the requirements for contracts within the city of Maumee. That's been in committee, and we also had further discussion in Committee of the Whole on that. E is a recommendation from the law director, second reading of Ordinance 31-2025, an ordinance repealing Ordinance 39-2021, title an ordinance to grant expedited authority for the solicitation and awarding of contracts. F is authorize the mayor to enter a license agreement with Scott Horner, trustee for construction of a driveway. G is declare the 2014 International truck with a 2014 Schwartz sweeper body as surplus, and authorize the sale of said equipment on Gov Deals, and authorize the public service director to effectuate that sale. H is declare a 2014 John Deere 544,000 wheel loader as surplus, and authorize the sale of said equipment on Gov Deals, and also authorize the public service director to effectuate that deal. I is authorize the mayor or public service director to enter in agreements with outside firms with necessary to review SWIP submittals. Those are stormwater prevention programs. Sometimes with developments, we get caught up to where we need something right away, and this would allow to expedite those agreements quicker. J is a recommendation from the mayor to enter an agreement with Lucas County for EM services, which is electronic monitoring for the court. And K was added as a stock transaction for the beer barrel. Any additional comment on the consent calendar?
Yeah, we have L.
And you have L, the sewer committee of the whole.
Oh, that's right. Yep. And L is to allow an open committee of the whole relative to the sewer remediation program. Yes. We'll call the roll on that, please.
Lineback,
Yes.
Pufferberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
We got new business, a recommendation from mayor to approve 28-2025, an ordinance amending the Maumee Codified Ordinance, Section 1105-03, the Design Review Board, and Ordinance 106-2020. Basically, it's just putting all these terms to expire at the end of the year. So we need a motion to approve 28.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will move to approve Ordinance 028-2025, an ordinance amending Maumee Codified Ordinance, Section 1105.03, Design Review Board, and Ordinance 106-2020.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Anything further on that? We'll call the roll.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Zitz,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Recommendation from the Plan Commission to approve ordinance 34-2025, an ordinance amending section 1143.03 of the Maumee Codified Ordinances for exempt signs. We need 2 motions on this, please. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I move to waive the 3 readings.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you. We'll call the roll.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
And I move to approve ordinance 034-2025, an ordinance amending section 1143.03 of the Maumee Codified Ordinance exempt signs.
And I will second that motion.
Call the roll.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. That is approved. And a recommendation to the Law Director to approve ordinance 35-2025, adopting an updated Maumee sanitary sewer overflow remediation policy and program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. I'm going to first to suspend the rules and declare an emergency.
I would second that.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Lineback,
No.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Zis,
No.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Not sure there's enough for an emergency.
And I will, I'm sorry.
Not enough for emergency, probably.
Oh, we're short.
Missing one.
Without having
Yeah.
that here.
Yeah, without that, I don't think we have a supermajority. We need 5 votes for an emergency measure on this.
Okay.
Do a first reading.
So is it a first reading now?
So we'll have to do a first reading on ordinance 35-2025.
All right.
Can I get another motion on that, please?
We haven't made the motion yet.
We need another motion as a first reading for this ordinance.
Yeah.
The emergency measure did not pass.
Okay. I'm going to move for the first reading of ordinance 035-2025, an ordinance adopting an updated Maumee sanitary sewer overflow remediation policy and program and declare,
Nope. Nope. That's it.
No emergency, that's fine. This is a first reading on ordinance 35. Need a second on that, please?
I second that.
Okay, we'll call the roll.
Do we need to
Lineback.
vote? Do we need to vote on a first reading?
right, this is the
Yeah, this
motion
is
for
the
first
roll
reading.
for the, yes.
It's a roll for that.
Lineback,
Yes.
Puffenberger,
Yes.
Zis,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. So for the record, you approved the first reading of ordinance 35-2025.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll proceed to comments. I would just like to thank Kristen with the Chamber and Nancy with our administration for expediting honoring our veteran banner program that we had on the trail, 46 banners in all, and I know it was kind of a lengthy task to try to get with the families and coordinate a lot of that was done, and get photos and get them printed on banners and so forth and so on. We did have a main sponsor, Serenity Realty, that donated quite a bit of money to get this done, and it was a great project and very fitting leading up to Veterans Day that we got those posted, and thank the city boys for getting those up quickly so we could honor our veterans in that banner program. So thank you for all that were involved in that. And we'll move to council. Mr. Leinbach.
Thank you, Mayor McDonald. A lot of emotion, strong feelings out there tonight about the sewer, and we have some work to do. So I'm hoping Council President Barrow will be able to get committee of the whole meeting scheduled next week so we can further refine the sewer program, since this is only first reading. And second, a little bit of a shout out to a local business here in the Uptown area. I was out of town at an event yesterday and bumped into a woman who noticed my name tag. It said, from Maumee, Ohio. And she goes, "Oh, Maumee." Well, and I looked at her name tag. She's from Nebraska. So she was out of town visiting, but she's from Nebraska. She goes, "Oh, Maumee, they have the most wonderful tea shop in Maumee." And I said, "Claire J's, that's only like a block from my house." She goes, "Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful asset. So I thought I'd just shout out to Mrs. Fairweather, so, and her team of people who make that a wonderful experience for the people who go.
Thank you. I would just like to add one other thing, too. We did have a ribbon cutting at Staybridge Inn and Suites out at Fallen Timbers. They pumped $2 million in that facility. They redid every room. They redid the entire building. It was a great facelift for that facility and for the parent company, IHG. And it was beautiful. I mean, we cut the ribbon and went through it, and they really did some state-of-the-art stuff inside. It's a beautiful place. Also, we did have some visitors from Israel that were coming uptown. I just happened to run into them when they were walking through town, and they had never been in Maumee before. And walking through the uptown area, they said they had never seen a small city as beautiful and as well-kept as the uptown area was, and never seen anything like it in their travels around the U.S., and that they were just very impressed with the vision and the foresight in positioning Maumee for the future. So I just thought I'd share that. And we'll move to Ms. Puffenberger.
Thank you. I will second that with Clara J's. I was just there Sunday morning for yoga. It's amazing. She does yoga at 8:30. You get a little scone and cream and tea and fruit afterwards. It's pretty wonderful. But I also wanted to say how nice I think the veterans banners look. I just noticed them today driving around, and they look really great. You see them in every community you go around to, and I think they look really nice. I'm going to let everyone know about the movie. November 5th at 6:30 at the Maumee Indoor. It's Organic Rising. The Environmental Tree Advisory Commission is showing that. So please come out and check that out if you are available. I wanted to, I guess, address some of the things that were said during council comments. Like, for example, with the movies things and the regular events, those are very easy things to get out there. They're very cut and dry. It's just a matter of what's happening. With the sewer stuff, our staff has been working like crazy now that we have, like, up until the consent order, I mean, they were working all different scenarios on, how we might do this, how we might do that, and the other, once it was signed, they've been working like crazy figuring out how we're going to do this. And, we haven't had something as of yet because the people that are working on that want to be very well prepared for that meeting. I mean, we realize we need to have something, and we've been discussing it a lot. We need to be prepared for it. I mean, as part of what the thought has been. So, I mean, that has been part of the, I guess, the delay. But, we need to get something out there soon, especially with, 2025 coming to a close. But I wanted to talk a little bit too about, someone had mentioned, the difference between commercial owners and private owners. And I was meeting with someone the other day, and I was talking to them about municipal finance and how friends of mine that are planners, when I was trying to learn a lot more about municipal finance when I was running for council, shared with me a graphic that they'll share with a lot of communities that they work with. And it's a very simple kind of like chart that visually represents the amount of money either drain on city services or contribution to city finances services. And commercial pays for everything, essentially. I mean, our income taxes pay for everything. One of the biggest draws on city services are residents, especially single-family homes. I mean, that's no kind of negative on residents. You need residents. That makes the community, but it's just the clear facts. When it comes to finances, when it comes to commercial income taxes, add to the money to pay for everything. Residents use the services. So that is why, unfortunately, the way Ohio is funded, I mean, you need to get business to come in and get the income taxes to pay for everything. I mean, it is what it is, but that's kind of the why behind it. I just wanted to address that a little bit, and I'd be more than willing to talk to any of you, you know, outside of the meeting as well. And I know I'm not going to be able to address all these, but Paula, so the sign, I get that it's not welcoming you to Uptown as you're leaving. It's essentially like a marker saying where you're at. So yes, you're about to go over the bridge, but you are still currently in Uptown Maumee when you're at that arch. And that's essentially what it is. I mean, when other communities have little sign toppers for they're in a different neighborhood, it just is indicating where you're at, not necessarily welcoming you or saying you thanks for coming. So, I mean, that's another way to look at it, I guess. I get it, especially for the kids. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Mrs.
I'm just going to address a couple things quickly since we've been here for a minute. Y'all are trying to kill me. It's fine. I think the veterans banners are great. It was really cool to see all those and see the community get involved in some of those things. So I do like to see when residents get involved in some of these projects that we take on. That was very cool. I did go to the swing set ribbon cutting. It was freezing and raining. And even still, it was a lot of fun. So, you know, if you ever want to go check it out, it's kind of a cool thing to go to these ribbon cuttings. I couldn't go to the Staybridge ones, but it is nice to be able to see the chamber be involved. I did want to touch on the sewer program. Many of you know that I'm obviously a little passionate about that. The city staff has been working hard trying to figure all this out. One of the reasons that I've been as adamant as I have been is because I want to expedite it and make it easier for them and easier for all of you and all of us to understand what's going on. So I will keep at it, and hopefully we'll get some information out in the next couple of weeks. With a regular committee of the whole meeting, it would not necessarily be a regular business meeting, so we wouldn't be voting. So those changes that we talked about today are not going to be enacted. I just want to let everybody know that's what's going on, but it will give us an opportunity to discuss and refine a little bit further and make recommendations for the actual business meeting when it comes down to it. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Barrow.
Thank you. Not too much, but just to fill a void here, a lot of people are asking about things that had been moving along pretty quickly and pretty fast, and that's our sewer program. Mind you, we haven't had an administrator since August, I believe, early in August, and that was a person who spearheaded up pretty much every facet of it, the meetings, the roundtables, the flow of information. So we're looking, of course, at a new administrator, so bear with us. And time constraints about when your contracts were signed and the deadline, I can guarantee you we're not going to put people in jail. We're not going to do anything harsh. We're going to look at the timelines when it began, and we're all neighbors here. We've lived here. We understand the tension, but I can assure you with what we have in place, what we're going to have in place, more information, but rest assured we're going to be looking at that as a case-per-case stands, a case-per-case instance. And yeah, I meet with our former administrator. We're friends, a lot of knowledge. I meet with tax attorneys. Since I've taken this job, I've sat with accountants, people who have administrated cities before in the CPA arenas, lots of different people, because the more I know and absorb and understand, the better job that I can do for our city. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Fiskus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Touching on the sewer, Ms. Harkey sent me a note that said they are going to begin putting the information on the sewer program in the next round of water bills. So you will all get that when your round comes up. So that is happening. I wanted to extend our gratitude to the service workers, the water workers. They had a busy week. They were out there in the rain. They were out there in the cold. The following day after the one on Conant Street, they were out sweeping and cleaning a parking lot. So their hard work is appreciated. And hopefully, now that we got a little rain, this clay will be a little more malleable for us. Holiday Hustle is coming up. It is Sunday, November 30th. The race is at 5:15. Parade is right after that around 6 p.m. Speaking of racing, and I think we're going to try to get them here next meeting. The girls cross country team had a phenomenal season, just finished it up. First league championship since 1982, which is before some of the people up here were born, I believe. It also sent Tegan Kennedy to states. She finished fourth, which is amazing. It's her first year ever running cross country. So if you've ever run on a road, running on a grass course is completely different. So that is phenomenal. I wish I could have an ounce of her speed. And I believe that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Harris?
Thank you. As everyone probably is aware, this is the last council meeting before we get to Veterans Day. Do we have any veterans out there right now in the audience? Can you please stand? Can we recognize? Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate your service. This is the third year the Maumee Chamber is going to be honoring our veterans in the city. Last year, we honored 220 individuals. This year, we have 250 people signed up that we're going to go around. We got 12 volunteers, but if there's anyone out there that knows of a veteran that may not have been put on the list, you can get a hold of the chamber at 419-893-8505. We would love to honor as many veterans as we can this year. And then tomorrow is Election Day, and just want to tell everyone that is running good luck. And it's going to be cold out there, so please dress warm, get some extra hot cocoa or some coffee. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll take a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Lineback.
Yes.
Pufferberger.
Yes.
Zis.
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Fiskus.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Thank you. We're adjourned.